This is another one of my almost now famous re-recordings of my podcast episode. This time it was only about 10 minutes. You know, sometimes I do entire episodes and I'm like, ugh, fuck is this? Get rid of it. Start again. This time around it was only about 10 minutes. I just started off telling a story of how I went to buy envelopes, and then I got a little bit confused when the woman at the store asked if I wanted a receipt, and that was basically the whole story. And I pressed record. I started drawing it like I was, full disclosure. Let's be, as honest as you and is. I was drawing a flesh bob, which isn't even that good, really. And I told that story, and I was like, oh, this is boring as fuck. What am I doing? Not that this promises to be wonderfully interesting by comparison, but I figured if nothing else, I can do away with this shit I knew was absolutely fucking dire and horrifically boring, and instead do something that may end up being somewhat slightly interesting, but I guess that remains to be seen. If you're watching this and listening to me talk about this right now, then we can assume it was at least in part somewhat more interesting than the goddamn stupid envelope buying story. Dear Christ. So instead, I don't know. I didn't have anything planned to talk about. I was in the streets recently. I stay in these streets, keep my head to the ground, my ear to the ground, my balls to the walls, to the windows and to the walls until the sweat drops down said balls. Like the song. And there was this is another uninteresting, very, very uninteresting story. There was one of those people that, do you get preachers, not vicars, in the full garb of a vicar, wearing all the vicar clothes and such, but just random people that preach, just random people in the streets talking about, you gotta give yourself up to Christ, you're living in sin, repent, the end of days is now. Oh, trans people. Oh. Those bastards. There was someone like that. Only, I don't know, I can only assume he was preaching gospel shit just because of who he not who he was necessarily, but the fact that he was doing what he was doing led me to believe he was trying to preach some word of Christ or some such, deity, some holier than me being. The issue arose from the fact that I couldn't tell a fuck word that he was saying because he was speaking into a megaphone, but I'm not sure exactly what the issue was, but I believe when you speak into a megaphone, you're supposed to speak at just your regular volume, and then the megaphone does the rest for you. But I have to assume the person doing this, preaching whatever nonsense he was preaching, didn't know that, and so he was sort of yelling into the megaphone. And so instead of, you must repent, you're living in sin, and, come unto Christ, and then Christ will come unto you, all I could hear other than that was, which is, just intelligible, unintelligible, the opposite of intelligible, completely unintelligible fucking nonsense coming out of this stupid person's stupid, mega stupid phone. Nothing mega about it, frankly. And I just thought that was funny. That he's gone to the effort to leave the house and put on his shoes, his go get 'em boots, his go get 'em let's preach the Lord's word boots, and he's thought, right, I'm gonna get out there. I've got a megaphone off of Amazon, and I'm gonna use it to preach the word of the gospel, to spread the Lord's holy message to the sinners of Southampton, which is the city in which I live. And then he, I don't know if it was just a bad megaphone or if he was using it improperly, but all that was coming out was just fucking untranslatable noise. It may as well have been Arseface from Preacher. I don't know if you are aware of the comic or if you've seen the TV series in which Arseface didn't look remotely as fucked up as he should have done. But he talks like this because his face is all fucked up. Google Arseface right now. I'll Google Arseface, and then if I remember, where are we? Approximately 5 to 6 minutes in. Maybe I'll remember that. Maybe I won't. But yeah, so basically, he's I guess the character of Arseface is somewhat based on I guess a real life type of thing where a guy had even the look of him actually I think is based on a real person who attempted suicide by shotgun in the face but survived and so was left horribly disfigured with like this big dent in his forehead and his mouth all puckered shut, all teeth missing and shit. And so his mouth is puckered shut and it looks like an arse. He's got a face like an arse, so they call him Arseface. So he talks like this, he can't really understand what he's saying because he's drunk and he talks through his voice. Like you can kind of tell what he's saying, but you kind of can't. It's this funny thing. It may as well have been him on the megaphone, blabbering about fucking Jesus nonsense for all the good it did. It's really not the way to. It's always fucking mental cases as well. Mental illness is a very real thing, and a lot of people suffer with it. A lot of people live with it, and don't necessarily suffer, but they live with it, and it's an issue in their lives. It's something they have to sort of like contend with daily. But there's a lot of mental illness in religion, and I know that firsthand. You look out at the congregation, as they're called, the group that gathers in the church, and you just look in the eyes of people, and there's just fucking mental illness in their eyes, and it's always those sorts of horrifically unwell people that preach in the streets, and it's just like, I don't know if you're expecting to really achieve anything, if you're really hoping to like gather more members to your flock. This is not the way to do it. Babbling in the streets through a megaphone terribly. It's like a Scanner Darkly, but through a megaphone terribly. That's quite funny, actually. Not hilarious, but Have you seen A Scanner Darkly? Have you read the book? I read the book. I used to read books. It's alright. Keanu Reeves is in the film. Robert Downey Jr. is in the film. Woody Harrelson's in. There's a lot of fucking people in that film. Winona Ryder's in it. God, that's got some fucking stars in that film, actually, now I think about it. I haven't thought about that film in quite some time, but now I think about it, I've thought about it. And that's all I'll spend thinking about it. Hey, today we're drawing Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, roly-poly, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, eat them up, yum. Flesh Bob, roly-poly, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, eat them up, yum. Boo, 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 squibby dibby Flesh Bob. I love Flesh Bob. He kills people. Sometimes he eats them, sometimes he doesn't. And if they're children, he'll kill them quicker. Flesh Bob, roly-poly, Flesh Bob, Flesh Bob, eat them up, yum. It's roly-poly fish heads, which I've played before on the podcast, only old heads will Only the old heads will remember that one. Jesus, I don't know what happened. Maybe that was God punishing me for my blaspheming, taking his name, his stupid name in vain. Wow, that fucked me up. Talking about killing people and eating people and flesh bob. All the evils I commit on a daily basis. I'm paying for it in coughing a bit. There's a chance that if you're watching this, it may be that I've changed the format of like my thumbnails and such slightly. It happens every now and again. It has happened. The podcast has gone through several sort of iterations. What started as the I think it started as the Ewan Sucks podcast. And then it was something else, and then the Ewan cunt titled podcast, cunt titled, get it? And then hang and draw, and I just feel like it's time to switch it up. Maybe it's probably best not to. It might be that I'd be better off just letting it sit and grow as it is. If I keep changing it, maybe it's only a detriment. People like consistency, don't they? They like the same shit over and over again. People don't like change. I should know that better than anyone. I get panic attacks if things are different to what I'm used to. Nevertheless, I feel like just changing it ever so slightly, and it will be ever so slightly. So I'm thinking it might be the Fleshcast for a little while, just because I happen to like Flesh Bob and I want to draw him and give praise unto him. Praise be to Flesh Bob for how wonderful he is, how gracious we are, grateful and gracious we are that he has come unto us and bestowed upon us his gift of flesh and indulging in your most delicious violent tendencies, because that's what he is. For those of you who don't know, this is my wholly original character, Flesh Bob. See, he's an original character like Ronald Ruck or Ricky Rouse. That's a Simpsons reference. See, he's like SpongeBob, but he's made of flesh. I did some digging around in some piles of old sketches to try to find some of like the... I tried to find some of the original artwork. I've got some old pieces I can show, but I don't know if I've got Flesh Bob's true origins that I can show off or anything. But I do have some of the older Flesh Bob artwork. Basically, he's a violent, murderous little scamp. He likes tits and asses and shit, and he likes to murder for fun. See, sometimes I draw murder in a sorrowful, depressing, horrible way. But then if Flesh Bob's involved, it's fun and exciting. It's just a bit of a laugh, really. Just fucking mess about, have a bit of murder. Oh, do you want to hang out later and do some murder? Yeah, that sounds fucking brilliant. Let's do it. Let's go get some fucking murder done. Let's fucking go. I've got, where did I put them? Here they are. Here they are. Here they are. How do you do? These aren't in any order at all. I just grabbed a bunch of them. I think originally I was drawing I drew a SpongeBob but like made out of brains, and then I drew a SpongeBob made out of intestines, and like SpongeBob made out of eyeballs, just because SpongeBob's a fun shape and a funny little character to draw. And I like drawing intestines and flesh and eyeballs and brains and guts and penises and shit. So it seemed, an easy, sort of sensible, fun, amalgamation of parts to squish together like genitals. And the one that sort of like stuck with me was just a pink fleshy Flesh Bob. That one I did. I think I did a Who's That Pokemon sort of thing, and then it was Flesh Bob. So you think it's going to be? No, that was right because that was traced from a silhouette of SpongeBob, and it was Who's That Pokemon, and then an obvious silhouette of of SpongeBob SquarePants, and then the silhouette goes away, and it's Flesh Bob covered in blood. He's often covered in blood, especially on his little fleshy winkle there. That's part of another one. I don't know if I've got all of them. Some of them I might have even sold, so I don't know if they're all going to be about. I'll just show what I've got. This was what's in the box. And then I don't think I have that drawing in this pile. Oh, I do. Oh, fucking cool. Okay, awesome. What's in the box? Oh no, I don't have the God damn it. Oh yeah, I do. Oh fuck, it's on the reverse. What's in the box? See two kids opening up the box. Flesh Bob! Look at his funny little fleshy face sticking out. Soft and squidgy, just like real flesh. It's real flesh. I can't do the squeaky voice. And then, so these are all on Instagram. You might have seen them already, you might have not. If this is your first time being introduced to Flesh Bob, then all fun, exciting. And if not, it's a little trip down memory Flesh Bob lane. Oh no, it's this one. Soft and squidgy, just like real flesh. It's real flesh. I love you, Flesh Bob. And he goes, mwah, he gives him a kiss, kisses him on his flesh, and he's all like heart eyes in the background. Aww. And then he says, human meat tastes similar to pork. And then I wasn't sure if I might have changed it in the edit to human meat tastes just like pork. I wasn't sure which one I prefer. And look, he's got like goop going from his mouth to Flesh Bob. And that's, as far as I'm aware, that's true. I believe human meat is very similar to pork in how it cooks, how it tastes, how it smells. And look, then those children are dead with knives in their backs because SpongeBob's a murderer. Flesh Bob, that was a genuine accident. I didn't mean to do that. Flesh Bob is a murderous little tyke, and he kills children with knives in their backs. Oh, Flesh Bob, you are a one. Now this was I can't remember if there was something leading up to it, but then there was Flesh Bob thinking thoughts, and his thinking thoughts were of violence. So he's got a chainsaw and he's chopping these two people in half, their legs flailing about, and oh shit, look how happy he is. He loves it. He's fucking having a whale of a time. And then you realise he's sat there, he's got big booty bitches on him, tits on his head, and he's drooling over this big ass. And then he's just thinking about chainsawing people up with all these body parts everywhere. He's running around. Not intentionally, but that could be seen as like a reference to American Psycho, where he's like naked with a chainsaw. He's fucking getting at him. This was a redraw of an old drawing. See, this is one of the original Flesh Bob drawings. A lot of them were in older sketchbooks, which I couldn't be fucked to go through because I have a pile of fucking 100 sketchbooks. God, these are some old drawings, man. This was before these pens showed up. This was just green, red, black, whatever I had lying around. So yeah, like bum and thighs. I did redraw this one as well, but I don't know quite what happened to that drawing. Maybe it sold, maybe I shoved it up my arse, I don't know. But his eyes are like floating either side, looking inwards, and his nose poking out the middle, and he's just drooling with his little winky out. And then so I did several drawings in that kind of vein. I did these ones as well. I don't know. I was drawing flesh, SpongeBob as flesh, SpongeBob as eyes, brains, whatever. And then I thought, like, what if it's SpongeBob as a woman's torso with like the nose, like the penis with the eyes float? I don't know exactly. But then I redrew that one, and it's quite cool, I think. I quite like that. That would have been posted on my Instagram at some point. It's all everything's on Instagram. That's a sticker I made, sticker app. the company that prints stickers, I get basically all my stickers done at, they sent me a message on Instagram saying, hey, you're an artist, we'd love to work with you, here's a code for 100 free stickers for you to get printed. And I was like, fucking banging, yes, let's go, thank you very much. So I took that and I got these printed. I drew this design specifically to do that. I used the pinkest pink paint to paint the pink picture of Fleshbob. I was really happy with the drawing. I like it's always do I get the eyes the right size and the proportions of everything. I was really happy overall with the dimensions and sizing and colour and everything of this. The little knife he's got, little winky there. I've moaned about this time and time again, but normally I've seen, I guess maybe they don't do it with everyone, but I've seen a lot. Sticker App will post on their page, hey, look at these new stickers from this artist, and either it'll be their photo or the artist's photo. They didn't do that with mine. I took some really decent photos of like me holding this sticker with other stickers. Like I tried to imitate what I've seen other artists do, but they didn't repost mine. I assume because it's a funny, violent little pink SpongeBob with his willy out, which is totally fine. I get why they wouldn't want to repost it, but you know, be nice if they did. I can't remember exactly what these were for, but you know, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Oh, this might have been leading up to him thinking about doing his violences. Where's... Oh, actually, yeah, I think that's it. I think I've got it. Where there? Yeah, I think there was like this and then this. So there's hammer, blood, fucking chopping someone up from the neck, like he's on them, fucking chopping their neck open. And then it was this, him chopping up people. Then I used computer imagery to make this smaller and put it in here. So he goes, he's being violent, violence. Then you realise, oh, it's just him thinking about being violent. And then it's him thinking about being violent while being surrounded by naked women. Isn't that the life we all want to lead? Fleshbob, you are a hero to all of us. This was a fun one. He started with him further away as just this but smaller, and then zoomed in a bit, and then he's turning around, and then he's got a handful of intestines. And then there was another image, which is another one I don't appear to have to hand, and it said, eat the flesh of the living, or something like that. Or eating people is never wrong, or everyone eats some guts. This is when I started giving him back muscles. I don't know exactly where that came in, but that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Always like drawing goop and gloop and blood and drips. Funny little Fleshbob antics. Oh, you are such a funny little guy, Fleshbob. This is one of my favourites. I think I just read Thistlebone, which is, you know, folklore, folk horror, and so I wanted to do my own little folk horror story, which is in my Instagram highlights if you want to go and have a look at that. So it starts off with this. You may not even realise it's a Fleshbob story, but you see this panel, this girl, obviously you assume her hands are tied up. She's got branches as antlers. She's blindfolded. She's got like cuts maybe from whips and stuff on her body. There's a guy standing over her. I redrew him to be like this, just, you know, like a cult leader looking kind of guy standing over her. See, that's a callback. And then he's raising his dagger, and there's women cult members surrounding him, dancing happy yay midsummer, that sort of thing. He's about to sacrifice the girl, but then I don't know which order I've got. If they were where they. Oh, I don't have the bush one. Damn it. And then I think there's a picture of a bush, and then there's like a noise coming out of the bush, and then there's him confused, wondering what the fuck's going on, and then it zooms in on the bush, and then Flesh Bob jumps out of the bush with an axe. Oh, it's Flesh Bob with an axe jumping out of the fucking bush. Hui! And so they all scarper. They all go, oh shit, what the fuck is that? All the the lasses with flowers in their hair going, oh my god, run away! Cult leader takes an axe to the back. Fuck that guy, he's dead, I guess. And then, and I guess I redrew that one to make it. I needed to make it a bit more violent, really, didn't I? Because that's cool. That's just a little bit better. Got the manga action lines. Fucking. And then then he's just chopping them up. I really like these drawings. I'm really happy with them. I think they're cool. Look at the swirls and everything. Is it the Fibonacci spiral? Her head come off, and then he's fucking digging the axe straight into the head. Shunk, clunk. And then. Oh, I don't have the one. There is another one. Again, it might have sold. I've sold a handful of my Flesh Bob drawings. There's one where he's just like his face leant back with blood splashing over it, like cum shots, but of blood, and he's just in ecstasy, chopping these people up, having a whale of a time, leaving destruction in his wake. There he is, little naked. Head in half there, all these guts and dead bodies hanging out, and he turns around, he's all like, "Wee, did you see what I did?" And then there's the girl from the beginning with her head chopped off, and he's like, "Oh, didn't mean to do that. I think he was trying to save the girl." And then he scarpers away, drops the axe, runs off, leaves the beheaded girl there. And that was the story of Flesh Bob and the Cult. This sort of leads me on to my plan. I'm thinking of making a Flesh Bob storybook, like a children's book, but like a storybook. Yeah. Are you still looking at those goddamn Pit comic books? Yes, I am, and will be forevermore. Like what the Crow says, but different to what the Crow. Edgar Allan Poe. That was funny. This was a really cool issue. This was a really fun one. Really cool drawings, which is the point, isn't it? That's the point. See, for me, this is one of those things I'd say if I was in an interview, if I was ever famous enough to be interviewed about my cool artwork and shit, and they'd go, "Well, what does art mean to you? Or do you go to galleries? Do you like art, fine art, or whatever?" And to me, opening up a comic book is like going to a gallery. That's how I like to absorb and consume artwork. Is each comic book is like its own gallery show of artwork that I can look through, yeah, and go, wow, look at all the artwork, look at all the cool artwork, especially when it's good, like Pit with all its cool fucking shapes and dynamic poses and slides, I don't know, colours and fucking shit. It's cool. And then I recall we saw. Well, that's a good one. Did we see? Did I make it up? Fuck, I might have invented it. Oh no, we saw this. Yeah. I don't know how clearly it shows on screen, but this looks really, really cool. It looks like it's coloured with like ink washes or pencils or both. I assume that's the original artwork. And then the digital version. It's a cool-ish cover, but it really loses something in not being traditionally coloured. That's cool. That's a good pose. I might fill a good few sketchbook pages with me just swiping poses from Pit, but drawing, obviously Death Fist at the moment. That would work equally well for like Gun Viking or something. Steal everything, everywhere, all the time. Steal as much as you can, but make it your own. Like when you're at school and your friend's done the homework and you haven't, because they're your friend, but you're not theirs because they don't like you. But you managed to talk them into letting you borrow their essay, and then you copy it in your own words, and that's how you get away with it. God, what's wrong? That's a cool spread. That's a cool spread. Glutch. That's a good sound effect, man. I did an Instagram live the other day, and we spent a little bit of time trying to pick out sound effects for a little thing I was doing. God, I'm all sniffly and coughy. I think it might be hay fever or some shit like that. Sniffing's one of those weird things that's like, not one of those, it's just a thing that happens. But when doing videos and stuff, as you're filming, you know, you sniff as like an automatic sort of bodily reaction to whatever. You're not even aware you're doing it. And then you watch the video back if you're editing or whatever, and all you can hear is every fucking minute and a half, every 90 seconds or so, just, and it's really off-putting. I try not to do it, but sometimes you just can't fucking help it. But yeah, really like that spread. That's a really cool spread. Spread. Really chunky teeth. I like the fat, chunky teeth. They're really fun. That's a good spread. Another quick one. You can see that would have been quick to do. It, you know, I can't say for sure, but it certainly looks like that was blown up as well, like drawn smaller and then blown up. And that's your centre spread. You've got the staples in there. Probably a nice quick one to do. Love this. Love the shadow here. I like, as I was flipping through, I was keeping my fingers here to like make sure I remember to look at that, because that's really, the size and shape of him as he's walking away. Not an awful lot going on in this. I mean, really, I just want to look at cool drawings of Pit, and this doesn't have a lot of Pit in this issue of this Pit comic. Cool claw hand though, cool silhouette, like a werewolf howling at the moon. Oh. Separation credits, I guess, colours and stuff. Very, very digital colour in that one. Random sketches. Don't get to see many of those, and I don't know if I really dig the fact that they've got a little bit of digital colouring just to highlight them against the background. So they should have done just like literally just the sketches on the page rather than put a background in with, I guess they got pens and stuff, which is kind of cool, but I'd rather just see the pages, even if these are cut out from pages, just a square of this image as it would be seen on the page, rather than with the digital whiteness added. But still very cool to see some rough Keown sketches, because yeah, you don't see many of those. And this is cool too. I didn't realise this was in here. I apologise for all the sniffing, okay? It's just one of those days. I was about to sing a Limp Bizkit song then, but I won't. When I have an idea for a page, in this case a cover, I do a rough sketch, then transfer it onto Bristol board using a light table. A hard pencil lead cuts down on smudging. Oh, I thought it was going to be more dramatic than that. Cuts down on smudging. Pencils. Switching to a softer lead, H or HB, I flesh out the cover by darkening the lines and filling in the shadows. This stage is the most time-consuming for me, but I love it, which is understandable. So he goes from the rough, and then the pencils, time-consuming inks. Dan Panosian inked this cover and stayed very sincere to my pencils. Dan uses Sable No. 3 brushes and Hunt 102 Crow quills to do the job. Ooh, fancy pantsy. Yeah, the inks are good. Colour guide. Oh, okay, so this was a colour guide. Before I sent the pencil cover to Dan, I made a photocopy of it, 64% reduction, with Pantone markers and pencil crayons. I coloured it. Okay, so ink washes is marker pens and also coloured pencils, like I thought. This stage doesn't have to be laboured over, and you don't even have to stay in the lines. It's really just to give the separators something to work from. Colour separations, this is the fun part. I separated the image using my Power Mac 8500 and Adobe Photoshop 3.0. With this program you can zoom right in and take care of all the details. You'll be seeing more seps from me in the future. So he did the colours himself for this cover, but I just think the marker pen and pencil crayon version looks hundreds of times better than the digital version. But that's just me. That's just fucking bloody ass stupid me. Number 12. Now this is an interesting one because because look, issue 1, Pitt, ripping first issue. Issue 12, Pitt, still ripping. See, it's like the same. It's obviously a redrawing of it. It's not photocopied or just swiped or whatever. It's a new drawing, and it does look new as well. It looks a bit more refined, a bit tidier, less sort of stuff going on. But yeah, I'm fucking sniffing. It's pissing me off. Sorry. I apologise. It's bad form to be fucking sniffing all over the place. Ripping first issue. Issue 12, still ripping. I really like that. I think it's a neat little throwback to the first issue. Grey scales. I love the black and white. I love doing that. Throwing in some black and white into a... This looks like a flashback because it's black and white. It might be, it might not be. I don't know. A bunch of dead bodies. I assume whoever this is killed a bunch of shit, a bunch of people, a bunch of creatures. And then Pitt shows up. It looks like the colours are done very differently because... Now, I know with Photoshop, it looks like he basically selected all of the white space of the ink drawing and deleted it and then coloured in the layers underneath the drawing. But what it's done, what Photoshop will do if you don't edit it, it's left in certain places like a faint white outline around some of the black where there's a bit of where the ink isn't necessarily a harsh line, like a vectored line. So there is a very small amount of space where there's black ink and white paper sort of mixed together. And that becomes like these white outlines. So the colouring on this doesn't look anywhere near as tidy as it has done in previous pages. And then he's sort of recoloured the outline into yellow to sort of fade it into the background a bit, which can work, but it looks not amateurish, but it looks amateurish in comparison to something like this, for instance. And I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if he skipped a step or something else. But there's a weirdness to the inking on that. But that's just still, the drawing's fucking great. Love the crotch folds, the chain belt and the crotch and the thighs and that's a great pose. Love the straight line from the shoulder through to the neck, straight to the head and then down. That's fucking great. It's just, in the colouring. Digital, man. That's why you should never ever work digitally. Because it fucking looks like that. And I assume this is pixelated on purpose, but it's very pixelated. And then he's done the recolouring, the outline for this guy's shirt, but that looks really odd, and can't say I'm a fan of it. Colours, Dale Keown and Brad Haffey. So Dale Keown had part of... And that's what I was saying before, where sometimes the colours are completely done by someone else and sometimes they're not. Now I want to play a game called which of these is copy pasted and which isn't, because some of them are, some of them have to be. Because if you look at the small ones, the amount of detail, I think this is copy pasted because there's like a line here and that might be the line. It will be just off the page because there's a bleed where it will cut. So I think this is copy pasted here because the lines are so small and the detail's so small that it looks like it would have been drawn and then copy and pasted, shrunk down on a computer. And he spoke about in the previous issue using Photoshop more, so maybe he's getting on that and doing Photoshop colour, leaving outlines here and there, copy pasting certain things. I think this one is copy pasted from here, so maybe he drew these four and then copy pasted these two and put them here and here, just for a couple of extra bits. And still, I mean, drawing 4 of the same looking robots with quite a lot of detail in them, that's no small feat in itself. But if you look at the positions of the guns, I think it's, you can see it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter at all. That's a really fucking cool explosion. Difficult to get it right. You'd think like just draw something blowing up, it's easy, but to make it look like a thing is like this and then coming apart, it's too easy to just draw like mess and stuff and look like a random explosion. But to make it look like something's actually coming apart is really difficult. It's not perfect, but it's done really well here. Very effective. The douche pit coming away. It's really cool. It's a fucking savage dragon, but not. That's cool. Very Ghost in the Shell, where she's fucking pulling the tank apart and then her arms come apart and it's like her. That's another good pose. That would be one where, again, I need the right arm doing that. So I take a photo, flip it over, and then you've got him, right arm, death fist, you know, the guy, the thing I'm doing at the moment. He's pretty funny looking. I like his big head. Really, really nice hatching on the head there. I mean, not really, really nice, but for like comic book inking, there's some nice hatching on the head. I like that. I like the apparatus holding his enlarged head up as well. This is where he excels, though, just drawing big, bulky bodies. That's why his Hulk comics are the best. Not the best necessarily, but I think some of his best work is the Hulk, because he just drawing these kinds of Hulk type bodies is where he's good at. Great cover, great cover, good colours with the blue and the red in the background, and then the blue and the red sort of copy throughout the whole thing. Blue and the red in the little corner box. The red underglow is so nice. Just again with him and his double lighting, it's done really, really well, really effectively on both characters. And yeah, a really nice sort of like 3/3 cover. Cool drawing, cool colouring. And then, almost completely different, back into grayscale looking shit. Love that. It's small, but I like, you can see enough muscles and stuff and shadows and just the shape. I like it. I just fucking like it. Now, if we're talking pages to get done quickly, gee willikers. I think this is one of those issues that's like, yeah. Definitely. This is definitely... Well, I guess there's more detail in these pages, which means he probably maybe did like some of the detailed pages first and then went back and just quickly... Like, he could have drawn this guy that big and blown it up, and that's 2 entire pages done. That could have been drawn separately and added in later. The sky, frankly, is ugly colour-wise. Blue and yellow... Blue and orange go really nicely together. Blue and yellow, not so much, in my personal opinion. So I'm not too keen on that. And the grey with that isn't great. Cool enough drawing. I like the pose, the image, but as a double-page spread, it's a little bit lackluster. But, you know, time-saving thing. Got to get your pages done. And then, yeah, I think similarly here and here, just quick pages, big, bold shapes, minimal inking, really. There is, you know, there's decent inking, some good hatching and detail here and there. But it's, you know, chunky shapes. Fill up the space as quick as you can. Same here. 0 background. Just a very, very basic colour fade. Couple of chunky characters. I like it. I like looking at the drawings and the shapes and the digs into his arm and then he fucking or his back or whatever and then fucking hit in the jaw, and that's a difficult angle to draw a head from, so that's quite cool. Bites into him. They're having their fight. Oh, tumble, boil and bumble. I've lost all sense of plot at this point. I have no idea who's who or what's going on. Another digitally added. There's no way that's drawn in. That has to be drawn separately and added in digitally. Or at least maybe this one was drawn and that was digitally added. Somewhere there's digital trickery, which there's nothing wrong with it. Even in Death Fist, in one of the first 8 pages, I've used some digitally added duotone dots for one panel in particular. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just fun to be able to point out and be like, oh, this was all drawn and this wasn't. I don't know. There's a lot of blue and yellow in this issue, which, like I say, I'm not really a fan of that colour combination. Personally, it's not to my personal tastes. That's looks really fucking cool. But it isn't. Father! But yeah, another quick couple of pages. Any particularly cool fan art? That's really, really good. It's pretty good too. And he's trying to take what I was pointing out with the line with the shoulder and the whatevs. What was that? 13, 14. It's quite a cool cover. It somewhat reminds me of Jurassic League by Juan Gedeon. Really like the almost subtle blue glow on the rims of their heads there. I really like the green, and their gums and teeth look really, really cool. And then that line of shadow is really nice, and then the subtle blue is really nice also. And I like the pink contrasts really well with the green. There's a lot of good colour work in this. Like in the previous issue, sometimes not so much with all the blue and yellow. Whoa! Really, really like that. The colouring on that is really nice. The double lighting is really, really good. Really well done. Like the glowy green face looks really cool, but then the like a dark shadow blue glow. There's so many. It's like a contrasting oxymoronic kind of thing. So effective, and it makes the heads look so lumpy and like physical, like all these tendons and like wrinkles around the mouth and neck and stuff. Really, really effective with the armour and stuff as well. But those heads look really nice. They're really, really well done. Even on the teeth as well. Subtle, but it's there. The little double lighting with the blue glow on the teeth. Really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And now I think about it, if you look at this, the amount of detail in here, he probably knew this issue was going to be full of all of this, or maybe he drew it first, and so then the previous issue had to have like no detail whatsoever, because or like double page spread, three panel levels or whatever, double page spread, 3 panel levels. You look at the difference in amount of drawing, in detail, in colour. Everything in here is just full of drawing, full of detail, full of action, full of colour. There's so much going on. It's in the same way a TV show has, bottle episodes where they have just people in a room talking for an entire episode. So it doesn't cost them as much money, which means they have the budget to spend on bigger, more bombastic, dynamic episodes like this. With big fucking action fight scenes. Detail, detail, detail. Like, it's not just there's a bunch of people fighting. The detail in the suits, the scales on their like mail on their arms and legs, and the robotic looking parts of their armour. All these fucking weird mutant dinosaur guys fighting. All of these bodies. There's no copy pasting going on there. That's all drawn. And whoever this big fucker is, he's got some detailed as fuck armour. Even this one single panel is really like, there's a lot of drawing, a lot of detail in the robotics of the machinery around him and these cables and stuff, all the chains and tears and wrinkles and creases. The lighting, the colouring is a lot more, or looks a lot more done. It looks like a lot more effort's gone into the colouring. Again, the glow on all of his muscles and stuff is really, really, you know, it just looks like a lot more work has gone into this compared to something like this. I think it's fair to say it is almost certainly a time thing. It's just having an amount of time to do stuff. Colours by Dale Keown and Brad. So yeah, they teamed up on the colours. Ooh! Ooh! A mini poster. Oh my god. It's alright. I'd rather have a mini poster of that opening scene. Give me a poster of that. That'd be fucking cool. Yeah, that's kind of neat that it's still in there. Keeping the original shit around. Vzrap! Nobody loves me. He's gone. End. Is that the end of the story? How fucking long are we spending on this? We've got time for one more. I think we've got time for one more. Let's look at one more. 15. And then that leaves us with 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 for next week. Right. Let's pit 15. Now, this works a bit better with blue and yellow because the blue is darker, the yellow is a bit less abundant and less yellowy, and there's enough black sort of weighing it down and separating the two. It's not bright blue, grey, bright yellow, which there's too much like ugh. Whereas this, it's like a rich blue, there's a lot of black, and then the yellow is like more of a glow than, you know, an overpowering thing. So here, I think the blue and yellow is very effectively used. This weird digital effect that's put in there is kind of neat. That's nice. So yeah, I like this. This is a blue and yellow I'm happy with. Is it 13? Because, I mean, again, in comparison, like, that shit's ugly as fuck, frankly. But this is not. That's really pretty. Still, I'd prefer it to be like, you know, an orange or a pink with the blue, or maybe a purpley, more of a purpley blue. But still, that works really, really well. And the amount of black in there is really important as well, because it does need that distinct separation between the two colours. So says me, with my deep, intimate and infinite knowledge on comics and colours and shit. The goop. We love some goop. Dead alien bastards. Pink blood, yellow, green blood. Gloopy goop gloop. That's fucking cool. See, that's something I'd draw this and send it in as fan art. If I were in the 90s again and this was a new thing, I would absolutely draw that. I might draw that just for fun. I might paint it for fun because it'll be cool. Like those Bisley copies I've been doing, I'll do some fucking Keown copies as well. And, you know, I think that would look cool, like hand painted with, you know, a bit more sort of texture to it. Oh, that's nice. Not amazing, but it's nice. The sort of brush hatching, whatever, etching look is kind of nice. And a very, very cool effect with this sort of glow across the dark arm. It definitely does look like a different kind of flesh rather than the usual, like, pit flesh or whatever. Like, yeah, it looks like a shinier black alien flesh, which is neat. Ooh! Love me a collage. Now I wonder if this was drawn, if this artwork exists as one piece of artwork that's drawn like this, or if it is made out of separate drawings. See, because this... No, it's separate artwork. Because I think that's straight up from one of the earlier issues. I think this was one of the covers of an earlier issue. God knows which one, but it was one of them, because I think it's one of those ones I pointed out that I really, really like the colour of. I can only find this one. Oh no, it's the interior, isn't it? Which is this 8, so I think the issue 7 will have at the end. God damn fan art, get out of there. No, maybe I made it up. Maybe it is in this one. God, shit, and damn it. Yeah, there. So that's... Yeah, that's taken this artwork and put it here. So that is a collage. It's not a drawing. It's a collage. It would be cool if that was one drawing. I'd love to see the original artwork like that, but it's not. It's made up of other pieces, which is also cool. That's cool. One of those instances where you just leave the background to the colorist. You do something. You come up with some kind of portal or some shit. Throw in whatever effects you like. Maybe Keown added in these shapes. I don't know. They're digitally blurred as fuck, but a cool pose. Really good use of shadow covering large portions of the body. A really effective use of shadow. Like sometimes shadow looks like it's just sort of thrown in because, yeah, shadow, whatever. But that looks like it's used knowingly. Like this is a smart use of shadow. Everything's on fire and there's a guy. Oh. 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 Of course, I'm just saying... oh, here's another idea for a book I could do. Here's another and another and another idea for a book I could do, which I do again and again and again and again and again and again and again. But that's how it is. That's a good thing. Otherwise, the alternative is, well, I guess an alternative is I have zero ideas and I go, well, I made a book and now I don't know what to do. Another alternative would be I have an idea for a book and then I make the book. And then I have another idea for another book, and then I make the other book. Instead of, here's an idea, and here's an idea, and here's an idea, and here's an idea, and here's an idea. And then, you know, maybe somewhere along the line I make one of those things. But it's just how it goes, isn't it? You know, I've got a lot of ideas. I'm a creative person. I got a lot going on in my bonce, in my noggin. Look, he's got a pitchfork and he stabbed it through this guy's head. That's fucking funny, isn't it? It is funny. Shut up if you think it's not. If you think that's not funny, you're stupid. You must be a moron. What are you, a fucking idiot? Don't even find murder and maiming funny. That's what a boring, stupid life you must lead. I bet you're looking forward to getting married and having kids someday, you fucking boring piece of shit. Ooh, I'm going to start a family and get a house and mortgage and have 2 cars and go on holiday to fucking Magaluf every year. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Ooh, wouldn't that be a fun existence? Ooh, let's exist in the same way as everyone else. I'm going to do this one purple for no apparent reason. See if it makes any difference putting purple in the background. Might ruin it. It's called experimentation. It's what sets me apart from you. I experiment and actually try shit out instead of just doing the same old tired shit all the time. And that's why I end up having to re-record episodes because everything turns out shit. But yeah, I think a Flesh Bob, like in the style of like a children's storybook, where it's like one illustration per page with some text underneath, like Flesh Bob was walking to the store, When he got to the store, he bought bread and milk and cheese and eggs. And then he turned the page and it says, but on the way home, a car drove past and splashed him with a puddle. Drove through a puddle and splashed poor Flesh Bob, and he was not happy about that. So he followed the car. He saw the license plate and he found out where the person lives. And he went to their house in the dead of night. And here's how you make a Molotov cocktail. And then really detailed instructions on how best to make a Molotov cocktail safely. Got to be safe with these sorts of things. I think that'd be a really funny book. I don't know if anyone would want to publish it. Again, I like everything else, I'll just do it myself. If no publishers want it, then fine. I'll put it out. I'll make the thing. And it'll be fucking hilarious. And that'll also be fun for just making it. Like doing, maybe 30 to 40 pages. Like, and print it on like thick card. Nice and expensive. A small like square children's storybook. So 30 or 40 individual little drawings of Flesh Bob. And all of them can be fairly small, and then I can take more time because there's going to end with him murdering a bunch of people, so I can do those pieces bigger, maybe even like paint them and whatever. It'll be really really funny little bookie work. I mean, that'll be a good time. Good times, good fucking times. That's how I have a good time. Murder and mayhem is how I have a good time. I kill and I maim, and I eat people's flesh. Did you know, once upon a time, with my old website, I had a website, it was it was annoying. It was... Is this visible down here? Yeah, cool, okay. It was the-ewan.com, which is really annoying to tell people when they say, what's your website? I say, it's the-ewan.com, but it's like the-ewan.com. And like some people don't know the word hyphen. And then if you say dash, in their head, they might hear slash. And it's like, it's just so fucking awkward to... So that website didn't really do too much for me. It didn't really go anywhere. But I had the website nonetheless. The best part of it was, for some reason, just for fun, I didn't think about it. I did it just because. When it came to like naming the homepage, I typed in "Eat the Flesh of the Living." I think at the time I had a big drawing of a zombie I'd done as like the homepage image. And so I named the homepage "Eat the Flesh of the Living." And for quite some time, because every now and again I'd Google myself, just for fun, I found out that if you Googled the phrase "Eat the Flesh of the Living," my website was the number one result that you'd get from that Google search. Which is, that's quite a thing. That's a thing. To be the number one result on Google if you type in "Eat the Flesh of the Living." And then there was, I think the very next one was some biblical thing. Of course. Something about, not eating the flesh of the living Christ, or some fucking... Or no, about do eat the flesh of the living Christ. Some shit like that, about eating the flesh of Christ or something. But I was very proud. I even used that in like... in terms of like publicity. I made little flyers that said something along the lines of the number one search result for "Eat the Flesh of the Living," the-ewan.com, because I was proud of that. It was, a mini little achievement. You get sometimes you get very, very little in the way of achievements going on. It's trying to make a living as an artist. It can be very difficult at times. So when you get like a small achievement like that, it can be quite a thing, quite a deal. So yeah, I was really happy to have that as my thing for a little while. Eat the flesh of the living. I don't think I've tried Googling that recently. I'm not sure. I guess I could try right now, couldn't I? It's flesh bob art out of the way. God damn it. We've got arse face up there. Let's eat the flesh of the living. Bible, yeah, you will eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters. What? New Living Translation. Then you will eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters. Cool! That's fun. Right, something Bible. Bible. It's all just... You'd think there'd be more zombies and shit. What Jesus meant when he said, you must eat my flesh. What does the Bible say about eat flesh? Bible Gateway, eat me. John 6. It's all Bible shit. Fucking boring. Boring. Got me snoring. Stupid, the Bible. You'd think there'd be at least one fucking like zombie movie reference or something in there, rather than it just all being fucking Bible fucking shitty nonsense. I fucking hate religion so much. Oh, that's not nice to say, but I don't give a fuck. Do. So when I was digging through my piles of drawings and shit, looking for my flesh bob art to show you, I came across. I found these. I remember making these. Hey Morty, we gotta go fly on the quantum spobilator to the boob planet of Titchalon. Oh jeez, Rick. Oh jeez. Do we really have to? I don't know. Oh, I used to be better at Morty's voice. Oh jeez, Rick. Oh jeez, Rick. Oh Morty. You gotta suck my dick, Morty. That's if you're unaware. That was they started by doing a parody of Back to the Future, where it was Doc and Marty, and it was like a parody of the Doc Brown and Marty McFly from Back to the Future, and every predicament they got into had to be solved by Marty sucking the Doc's balls, and that just turned into Rick and Morty, Doc and Marty. It's cool. You see how they crossed that bridge? They bridged that gap. You gotta suck my balls, Morty. Oh jeez, Rick. Do I really gotta suck your balls again? Oh jeez. Oh jeez, Rick. Oh, and look, they're like puppets, like Muppets, like little Muppet puppets that I made. I also found this, which, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. It was on Instagram, but it got removed within a day for violence. Look, he's punch with the long flowing hair, punch, choking, and then, hey, what the hell are you doing? Take your hands off of her. And then he's like, and you realise this person has a beard. It's clearly a man. And she goes, oh, sorry, I thought that was a woman. Carry on. And she's walking away. She doesn't mind. And then, boff, paff, smash. Beating the shit out of this guy for some reason. See, that's a commentary on how people don't give a shit about violence towards men, but they really do care about violence against women, which is fine. If violence against women is bad. There you go. There's my hot take for the day. Violence against women, bad. Don't do violence against women. Probably. Maybe sometimes. But violence against men is perfectly fine and allowable. People don't mind that so much. But yeah, that post got removed for something about violence, which I think silly. Quite frankly, I think I've seen much more violent stuff on Instagram. Back when my account got deleted, back in 2019, I believe it was, as a test, I reported a page that was posting videos of people fighting. There was one video in particular I happened to see of two kids beating the shit out of each other. Like, it was just a fucking, like, full-on, harsh, brutal fight of these, I don't know, two, like, teenagers beating the shit out of each other. And I reported it for violence. And I got a message back saying, we looked at the thing and decided that, no, there's nothing wrong with it. That's absolutely fine. Which is, you know, considering I got my page deleted for sexual content, which is just drawings of shit. You know, drawings of vaginas, I guess, but still just drawings of shit. And, you know, they have some shit in their guidelines about violence, and you're not allowed to post violent content. And I've had certain drawings removed because of violence. But a video of two very young boys visibly beating the fucking snot out of each other, apparently that doesn't count as real violence. So fuck knows whether, but everyone knows Instagram's fucking dumb with their stupid terms of service and whatever. It's old news at this point, isn't it? Oh, Fleshbob's having a whale of a time. He's in his element. I like the idea of Fleshbob using, like, farming equipment and stuff. Pitchforks and scythes and, you know, chainsaws kind of fit into that, I guess. Also, I have wanted to do more work with Posca pens, and I do plan on doing a bunch more images with Posca. Sometimes they share my shit on their page, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure this would be one they'll happily share. They do like their drawings to be fairly nice and, you know, appropriate for all ages. I don't know if this would really fit into that. Oh no, red on me. Oh. What am I, Shaun in Shaun of the Dead? You got red on you. I'm getting everywhere. Oh, it looks like there's been a fucking massacre. It's quite funny, really. It seems oddly appropriate. Blood, blood, blood. Come on, and let's get blood, blood. Blood, blood, blood. We all love blood. Yes, fucking blood, let's go. Blood for the blood god, which is me. I'm the blood god. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blood, yeah, 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 yeah. That was basically all I had to talk about. Was I just wanted to show off some Fleshbob stuff and then say I'm thinking of doing a Fleshbob funny little storybook. I think it would be really fun. Also, yeah, the podcast might be the Fleshcast for a little while, if I have changed the thumbnail and whatnot, because there is a chance that, you know, I'll get towards editing and stuff and I'll realise, yeah, I'll leave it as it is for now. But I might not have, so I guess that remains to be seen. Well, that's exciting, isn't it? That's fun and interesting and exciting, and wow, look at all of the wow, exciting, fun stuff. I can't wait until we all die. Hey, here's something else I found. I legitimately did find this in amongst piles of stuff I was looking through while finding my Fleshbob art. Do that.